Shalom, shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, the room that teach word and scripture. Salutations to the Akim that are doing this work in truth and faith. And in all sincerity, today's lesson is going to basically be about a nuclear war simulation of what would happen. Okay, you have to understand that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua has a systematic approach to usher in the kingdom of heaven. Okay, and it all entails judgment. For the most part, salvation to Israel, to the elect of Israel, destruction for the 2/3, and destruction and slavery for the heathen, and capital punishment for Esau Edom. And so I'm going to just go ahead and let this play, Lord willing. This is edifying.
Has left many with a deep sense of uncertainty. Nearly 70% of Americans surveyed by the American Psychological Association feared that we are at the beginning stages of World War III. The prospect of nuclear conflict, once unthinkable, is now a very real possibility. Today, we're going to explore the unthinkable. How would the United States respond during a nuclear conflict? What's America's nuclear war plan? How many nuclear weapons are readily available to the president? Where are they? What are their targets? How many missiles would be launched? How many casualties could we expect after American bombs reach their destinations? What would the world look like going forward? And most importantly, could the United States win a global nuclear war? The United States operates under a nuclear triad, consisting of land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs, sea-based submarines armed with submarine-launched ballistic missiles, or SLBMs, and air-based strategic bombers, carrying gravity bombs and air-launched nuclear cruise missiles. Now let's take a look at each part of America's triad and its weapon delivery systems. The first and most well-known part of America's nuclear triad is its land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. The U.S. has 400 LGM-30 Minuteman III ICBMs that are launched via silos. These 400 missiles have a range of over 6,000 miles and have near pinpoint accuracy. When launched, the three-stage Minuteman III travels at speeds of over 15,000 miles per hour, reaching its target in under 30 minutes. Each Minuteman III missile carries one warhead. 200 Minuteman III missiles are armed with a 335 kiloton W-87 Mark 21A warhead, while the other half are armed with a 300 kiloton W-78 Mark 12 warhead. Each warhead has around 40 times the destructive power of the bombs dropped on Japan in 1945. America's Minuteman III silos are based in 3 rural areas: the 90th Missile Wing at F.E. Warren Air Base in Colorado, Nebraska, and Wyoming, the 91st Missile Wing at Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, and the 341st Missile Wing at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana. Each wing has 3 squadrons, and each squadron has 50 Minuteman III silos. They're collectively controlled by 5 hardened underground control launch centers, each operated with 2 military officers around the clock at all times. In the event
Roughly paraphrasing, the third war cometh quickly. So that means that this war is going to happen all of a sudden. Even though we're in the beginning stages, it's not hot yet. Okay? It becomes hot when they do a draft and they have basically it's all hands on deck. They're not going to care about how old or how young you are. They're not going to care about a lot of things. They just want bodies to fight this war.
their launch command centers are destroyed.
And all of it is sanctioned by Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay, this These scourges are happening because Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said it would. Okay. It's written in the Holy Scrolls, which is the Bible. And the Lord is not playing. Okay, whereas people mocked and scoffed at the men of the Lord for looking like fools, proclaiming the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and the judgment and repentance. And while people mocked and scoffed, prophecy is playing out before our very eyes. I digress.
In a surprise attack, or the military officers inhabiting the launch command control centers get cold feet. These missiles can and will be remotely launched from an airborne command center, carrying out orders from the president. As with all things, there are advantages and disadvantages of the silo-based Minuteman III. Its primary advantage is that these 400 missiles make the most responsive leg of the nuclear triad. America's land-based ICBM force has remained on continuous around-the-clock 24/7 alert since 1959. They can be quickly launched in less than 5 minutes. America's silo-based ICBMs offer a strategic advantage as well. Due to their remote launch capability, an effective nuclear attack against America's Minuteman III silos will require at least 400 warheads, or one bomb aimed at each silo, forcing the enemy to use and deplete a considerable amount of their nuclear arsenal. But this strategic advantage also highlights the Minuteman III's disadvantages. America's land-based Minuteman IIIs are inherently vulnerable, as their location is commonly known, and therefore silos can and will be easily targeted. As a result, in the event of a large-scale attack, the president would be put in a sticky situation. He or she would have to either use these 400 missiles or lose them, forcing a large-scale retaliatory attack in response to perceived incoming warheads targeting American silos. With enemy missiles already in flight, the leader of the free world would only have 15 minutes to decide. And once a missile is launched, there's no turning back. While launching a thermonuclear intercontinental ballistic missile can be a hard decision, protecting your personal data from Russian hackers isn't. Luckily, there's Atlas VPN. Atlas VPN is a digital tool that encrypts your data and hides your location while browsing the web. Atlas VPN has thousands of secure servers and the last and most important part of America's nuclear triad are its nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines. The U.S. Navy operates a fleet of 14 Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines. Each submarine carries 20 Trident II submarine-launched ballistic missiles. The Trident II SOBM is the most destructive weapon in America's nuclear arsenal. Each missile is armed with either 4 or 5 475-kiloton W-88 warheads. In theory, each sub can launch its entire 20-missile payload virtually undetected in under 7 minutes. When launched, the 3-stage Trident II travels at speeds of over 18,000 miles per hour, has a range of over 7,500 miles, and typically reaches its target or targets in around 15 minutes. Each warhead is guided by a multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle, or MIRV, allowing a single Trident II missile to deliver up to 5 warheads to 5 separate targets. Just one Trident II missile alone, armed with 5 warheads, has 154 times the destructive power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Overall, the U.S. has around 70% of all of its warheads on submarines, and with good reason. There are numerous advantages of the ballistic missile submarine. For starters, they make up the most survivable leg of the nuclear triad. Ballistic missile submarines are virtually undetectable at sea. Their stealth design makes finding one an almost impossible task, giving pause to potential adversaries. With at least 10 submarines on constant patrol at all times, ballistic missile submarines assure that the U.S. can strike at any time, anywhere, even after a surprise attack. With each sub carrying an average of 100 warheads each, they have enough firepower to make just one submarine the 6th most powerful nuclear power in the world. In terms of disadvantages, there simply are none. imagine a nuclear war, the first thing that comes to mind is large cities like Los Angeles and Moscow being incinerated in a blaze of nuclear hellfire. While this would definitely be a likely outcome, the reality is that around 70% of the 1,800 nuclear warheads currently deployed by the United States aren't aimed at large cities, but instead at an enemy country's nuclear forces. To better understand this, we first need to take a look at America's current Strategic Nuclear War Plan, also known as the Single Integrated Operational Plan, or SIOP. First drawn up in 1950, the SIOP focused primarily on the Soviet Union. While today most of the weapons in the war plan still target Russia, other countries such as China, North Korea, India, and Pakistan are included as well. In this
Okay, I think you get the point. Let's go with
five things that I want to give you for how to make it through an SHTF scenario. And first I want to again try to...
There's no way you can make it out without the grace, the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua being with you. If he's not with you, you're not going to make it. Doesn't matter what scenario, situation that you put in. So this goes out to remnant of Israel to repent and to seek the Lord, because things are happening very swiftly.
Find what this type of scenario is, and I'm going to call anything that is beyond 48, 72 hours, whether it's localized or whether it's regional or national or even global, any kind of event that substantially impacts your ability to get about your business with liberty, freedom, and security. So it could be a natural event, it could be a man-made event. I'd love to hear your thoughts as far as what the most likely SHTF scenario is that you're planning and preparing for in the comments. And as we move on, before we get to the first one of the five, I think we kind of have to understand that ultimately, before we can do any of these five things, the first thing that we have to do is to assess risk. So it's really six things that I'm going to give you. We need to be able to assess the risks of the scenario, of the encounters, of the times.
Now you see all them people? Basically it's going to be every man for themselves, because the water's going to get shit off, the food's going to get shit off. Okay? The floor money's going to get shut off. All your natural resources will be shut down for a period of time, then reintroduced through the mark of the beast. Okay? You gotta accept this MOT to the B if you want to partake in the new society. And so I strongly advise you refrain from taking that mark, Israel.
Right? As an example, in the same way that I don't drive on January 1st at 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, I don't even drive on New Year's Eve past 10 o'clock. I don't even drive that late. I don't even go out of the house. But there's a reason And the reason is I know that there is a much likelier opportunity to run into somebody who's been drinking and driving, right? And so I avoid the streets. I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning. The same thing is true for why I don't shop in Compton, Tacoma, or the Lakewood, right? The last time I spent any significant period of time, which was only a few hours in Lakewood, as you recall, about a year ago, my vehicle was broken into and they stole everything that was in it. So I don't go back. I don't give that city my business anymore. You're going to be in a...
Do you know what lard is actually made of? This food saved America during the Great Depression. It's high in calories.
In a better spot. What kind of air electrical items that you have? Maybe it doesn't have to be...
Okay, I'll close it out there, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Wakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the GMS, the ruling teachers, word and scriptures. Salutations to the Akim that are doing this work in truth and faith and all sincerity. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.